Hi, this is Gary again. I just wanted to reply again to PH Lewis 86 in his video on people thinking for themselves, and he was very eloquent about it, and I think I understood exactly what he was talking about. At different times in my life, it was shut up and do what you're told, and I would shut up and do what I was told. And for better or for worse, even if it was wrong, I would do it. And I think that was a bad thing. I agree with you completely, Lewis, about the fact that of teaching your children as they're growing up the art of independent thought. And one of the people that used to work for me at my former job taught his child, as soon as he was consciously aware that he could do things, to fend for himself. He taught him, showed him where things were in the kitchen, how to make a sandwich, how to put the ingredients together and make a sandwich, the type of sandwich that he liked, and how to clean up his mess afterwards, and so on. And this is the beginning of independent thought, is independent action. And from there it developed into a lot of other things as well. He was able to program the VCR and different other things at a very early age. And his father encouraged this. And I always told him that I thought that was a good thing. I wish I had been taught that way, really. But when we get older and we're able to become aware that we are under somebody's control, and it's really man controlling man, man's fear of man. And I know I'm not using something that's gender neutral here, but it's the best way I can express it. It's a very queasy and odd feeling when you realize that that's what has happened to you. And the best thing to do to break away from it is just walk away from it. I mean, if you're in a job where that seems to be commanding the situation, if you don't need that money and you don't need that living, you're not supporting a family or a household, you can easily walk away from it. And that's what I've done on a couple of occasions. As far as joining with other people in groups and so forth, I have a real difficulty with that. I did, when I worked at my job in my career with the Air Force and the Air Reserve Technician Program, after thinking about it for a long time, I began to realize that the reason that people seemed to all be thinking a lot is because they were hanging around together and basically feeding off of each other and sustaining each other's thoughts and philosophies, so that they all sounded and looked the same after a while, talked the same and everything else. I decided I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to attend these various things like the Order of the Sword and that kind of thing, although it would have been an advantage in my career, and I probably should have done it. Now that I think about it, I might have gotten that last stripe, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. That's all. So I felt better in doing things the way I did. It is of great interest to me that, you know, people will join churches, they'll join the Lions, they'll join quite a few things, and there's a difference in the members. Some of the members are joining because their neighbor joined and because they can network and get an advantage out of it as far as finding jobs and career advancement and so forth. Some people believe the core values of the organization and push them forward. They've reviewed the core values. They've seen that, okay, this is something that I believe in, that I like, but I have to follow a few rules in order to do good here. So this is what I will do. And that kind of thing. But this is still independent thought. It's just that you've made an agreement between yourself within your own mind and what someone has put on paper for you to read and consider, and then you make a contract. It doesn't have to be a signed contract. It can be a intellectual contract to push forward. Now, in the course of this, If you see that there's something dishonest or something that hasn't been presented properly to you in an honest manner, then you have to make another decision. Do I break this contract and walk away? Or is there enough good coming out of this where I can balance off, the negatives with the positives and so forth, and see that some of the things that I want to get done are done, but at the same time I just have to put up with this other crap that I don't like. And that is a real dilemma that people face in their lives, and I've had to face it myself. I have. I'll get into a video later on where I go over that a little bit. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you, Lewis 86, that I appreciated that video, and I understand exactly what you're saying. I kind of think that when I was growing up as a child, I wasn't properly raised in that way, and I should have, I would have probably enjoyed life more and been better off if other things had occurred rather than the things that did. But then again, you can never know that. You see, you can't really live your life by counterfactuals. You can't say, well, if only this had happened, these other things would have happened. I would have got laid sooner, or I would have gotten $1 million sooner. You don't know that. You have no idea. The problem with remembering how things were as opposed to how things really were is that you tend to rewrite history on a daily basis if you're not careful. And truly, you are what you remember. Memory is very important to our own identity, our self-esteem, how we present ourselves to the world, how we view ourselves as far as our past, present, and what we think our future is going to be. And that's all part of independent thought as well. We have to consider these things very carefully. Now, in action, there really isn't much thought. Once you put something into action, then you're going with a plan, and you're moving forward, and you're moving. Once you are moving, you probably shouldn't stop to think. Otherwise, you're going to be greatly disappointed if you do. That's why I always think to myself, if I decide to do something, I consider it now. I consider the point of view of what is the advantage for me to do it, and what is the outcome, likely outcome. How easily can I back away from this if this turns bad? And if I do nothing, will that be better, or will that be worse, or what? And that's the nature of independent thought, that you put yourself through that without, just snapping to attention, saluting, and then marching off and doing what you're told. Well, that's how I look at it anyway. I hope that's comes across clearly. And I'll upload this video now and wait for some comment.